Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to kick off our presentation with the title slide, The Last Mile of Your Fabric Journey. Underneath, you'll see the subtitle, From Static Best Practices to Dynamic, Tailored Operational Excellence. Today, we'll explore how to move beyond one-size-fits-all approaches and embrace more flexible, customized solutions to optimize your fabric operations. We'll look at key strategies, innovative ideas, and practical insights to help you succeed in this final and crucial stage of your fabric journey. So let's get started. Let's talk about the challenge of static best practices in fabric transformation. You see, many organizations rely on what I call shelfware. These are best practice guides that look great on paper, but don't necessarily translate into real-world action. Without guidance tailored to their specific needs, these best practices often remain unused or ineffective. The core problem here is that these binders don't reflect the unique culture, processes, technology stacks, or business rhythms of each organization. When teams try to apply these generic documents, they often run into confusion, delays, and frustration. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Many organizations start their Microsoft Fabric journey equipped with these thick, theoretical binders filled with templates and industry recommendations. But the truth is, without context-specific guidance, these best practices can become more of a hindrance than a help. That's where the idea of living playbooks comes in, dynamic, adaptable guides that truly meet organizations where they are. Now, let's explore the breakthrough that is transforming how teams adopt Microsoft Fabric, living playbooks. These playbooks empower teams to act confidently in complex situations, providing a clear and consistent approach. They help ensure that everyone is on the same page, navigating challenges effectively. Living playbooks are not one-size-fits-all. They are customized to fit the unique environment of each organization. This customization bridges the gap between theoretical concepts and real-world challenges, making sure the guidance is practical and relevant. Think of them as collections that include actionable checklists, successful patterns, lessons learned, and team wisdom. These components make the playbooks valuable tools that evolve with your team's experience. This shift signifies a move from leadership, simply enforcing static binders, to empowering teams to create dynamic, evolving collections tailored to their needs. It's about giving teams the autonomy to adapt and grow. Overall, empowering teams with living playbooks means enabling them to confidently handle whatever comes their way, with tools that grow and adapt alongside them. This approach truly transforms how organizations adopt and leverage Microsoft Fabric. Let's dive into the core thesis of this slide. Achieving operational and governance excellence through living playbooks. The idea here is to move away from static, one-time projects and instead adopt dynamic practices that support continuous improvement. This shift allows us to foster innovation, maintain operational consistency, and aim for long-term excellence. Transforming Microsoft Fabric adoption with living playbooks means treating these playbooks as living documents, tools that evolve alongside our organization. They shouldn't be static. Instead, they should adapt to our changing context and goals, ensuring that governance remains relevant and effective. Owning the playbook as a practical guide is crucial. It should be updated regularly based on real-world experiences. As challenges emerge and opportunities arise, our playbook needs to reflect those changes, helping us stay agile and responsive. This requires us to iterate and improve constantly. By combining proven patterns with insights from our teams, we create a cohesive, tailored playbook that addresses our organization's unique needs. Continuously refining it ensures it remains a valuable resource. Ultimately, assembling a living playbook is about creating a flexible, evolving tool that guides us effectively. It's about fostering a culture of continuous learning and adaptation, which is aligned with our overall goal of operational and governance excellence through living, breathing practices. Now let's dive into Lesson 1, Building a Living Playbook, moving from templates to real processes. On this slide, we're focusing on how transforming your Microsoft Fabric adoption with living playbooks can really make a difference. The key idea here is that team wisdom, those lessons learned and optimization techniques, are crucial because they help us turn abstract ideas into concrete, repeatable processes that are tailored specifically to our environment. It's about making things practical and actionable. Next, we look at incorporating team wisdom. Proven recipes, like ingestion patterns and quality checks, serve as a solid foundation for your playbook. Think of these as your trusted building blocks, providing consistency and reliability as you develop your processes. Starting with what you already have is also important. For example, existing templates such as workspace setup guides and security configurations are great resources. Instead of building everything from scratch, you begin with these resources, which accelerates your progress. A living playbook is about transforming all these elements, templates, recipes, team insights, into operational, actionable guidance. It's not just a static document, it's a dynamic tool that evolves with your team and projects. And a key principle here is that the playbook should answer the question, what do I do next? Rather than just, what is the best practice? This keeps it practical and immediately useful, guiding your team efficiently through each step. So, in summary, transforming templates into actionable guidance turns your accumulated knowledge into a living, breathing resource, one that helps your team move forward confidently and consistently. Now, let's continue exploring Lesson 1, focusing on the anatomy and examples of living playbooks. One of the key aspects here is documenting lessons learned, workarounds, and optimizations. This helps us preserve hard-earned knowledge, so it's not lost over time, and future teams can benefit from it. Capturing team wisdom is crucial. It creates a shared resource that guides decision-making. Visual guides are especially helpful. They help us navigate choices by providing clear criteria. For example, selecting the right data storage solution depends on the specific use case, and visual guides make that decision easier. Decision trees are another important tool. They provide reusable architectural designs for common scenarios. Think of patterns like the medallion architecture or incremental load pattern, which can be applied repeatedly across projects. Then we have pattern libraries, which offer step-by-step procedures to ensure operational consistency. For instance, onboarding a new workspace or responding to capacity alerts follow these standardized processes. Finally, runbooks serve as operational playbooks, comprehensive guides to handle routine tasks or emergencies efficiently. Altogether, these living playbooks form a vital part of transforming how we adopt and scale Microsoft Fabric, making our processes smarter and more resilient. Let's talk about transforming your Microsoft Fabric adoption with living playbooks. As your organization grows and evolves, it's important to tailor your practices to your team's skill levels. This means starting with the foundational essentials and gradually moving toward more advanced automation and analytics as your team becomes more capable. Scaling is another critical factor. Your playbook patterns need to be flexible enough to adapt from small, single workspace setups to large-scale environments with thousands of users and automated provisioning. By aligning your playbook with these realities, you ensure that adoption is practical and impactful across the organization. Now, when it comes to adapting your playbook to scale and maturity, structure plays a key role. Different team topologies, like hub-and-spoke models, fully distributed teams, or centers of excellence, shape how ownership and escalation are handled within your playbook. It's about designing your practices to fit how your teams are organized. Culture also influences this. A centralized governance approach typically requires detailed workflows and strict standards to maintain control. On the other hand, federated cultures tend to favor more flexible frameworks that promote team autonomy. Understanding your organization's culture helps you develop a playbook that's effective and sustainable. Finally, I want to emphasize the importance of customization. Generic best practices often fall short because every organization is unique, differing in culture, structure, maturity, and scale. Customizing your playbook ensures it remains relevant and truly effective for your specific context. This tailored approach is what drives real success in your fabric journey. Now, let's continue exploring Lesson 2, focusing on how customization plays a vital role in transforming Microsoft Fabric adoption through living playbooks. On this slide, we see that preserving the original intent of customizations is crucial. It helps prevent future teams from undoing or duplicating efforts, ensuring consistency and efficiency over time. Understanding the context behind these changes is equally important. We need to ask why this change was necessary, what business drivers prompted it. We also consider the design decisions. What alternatives did we evaluate? This helps us weigh different options and choose the best approach. Trade-offs are a key part of this process, too. What capabilities might have been sacrificed or become more complicated as a result? Recognizing these trade-offs guides us in making informed decisions. Dependencies matter as well. We need to identify other systems or policies involved to understand the full impact of these customizations. Moving on, key documentation elements come into focus. Documenting customizations is critical for clarity and continuity, especially as teams evolve. One important aspect is role-based access mapping. For example, access is tailored to clinical roles like physician, researcher, and administrator, with audit logging to track activities. Another element is extending data classification categories. Beyond standard labels, we now include categories like PHI, de-identified data, research use, and public health. Finally, a healthcare organization customized standard fabric patterns to align with HIPAA and clinical requirements, illustrating how these principles are applied in real-world scenarios. All these efforts, preserving intent, thorough documentation, and tailored customization, are essential to successfully adopting and scaling Microsoft Fabric in healthcare environments. Now, let's talk about how we keep our playbook alive through ongoing feedback and refinement. A key part of this is measuring usage, which helps us prioritize updates and ensures that continuous improvement becomes a core part of our culture. By tracking how often and how effectively our playbook is used, we can identify areas that need attention and focus our efforts accordingly. Assigning ownership is also critical. We designate directly responsible individuals, or DRIs, to oversee specific sections or processes, and we set review cycles to make sure content stays current and relevant. This prevents our playbook from becoming outdated or obsolete over time. We also rely on version control systems. These tools allow us to track all changes, roll back if needed, and maintain a clear history of updates. This accountability and transparency are vital for maintaining trust and accuracy. Quarterly retrospectives are another essential practice. During these sessions, we review incidents, celebrate successes, and update our content based on what we've learned. It's a dedicated time to reflect and improve. Creating feedback loops through surveys, retrospectives, and support tickets helps us capture real user experiences. Listening to our users ensures that the playbook remains relevant and useful. Finally, we must remember that a living playbook isn't static. It must evolve continuously. As technology advances and our organization grows, our playbook needs to adapt to stay effective. This ongoing evolution is what keeps it relevant and valuable for everyone involved. And that brings us to the conclusion of our presentation. Your living playbook is truly the foundation for ongoing success with Microsoft Fabric. When your playbook becomes a living, breathing asset, it grows richer with every project, lesson learned, and team contribution. This means it's not just a static document, but a dynamic resource that evolves alongside your organization. Fostering a culture of innovation, knowledge sharing, and operational excellence is key to keeping this playbook alive and valuable. As new challenges and technologies emerge, your team can adapt with agility, always staying ahead and ready to tackle whatever comes next. And perhaps most importantly, empowering your teams with clear, actionable guidance allows everyone to lead with confidence. When your playbook provides practical steps and insights, it becomes a true catalyst for sustained success. In essence, this is how your living playbook becomes more than just a tool. It becomes a strategic asset that drives continuous growth and improvement in your fabric journey.